Good evening. Today's meeting with President Trump was a total car crash for the Prime Minister. Free speech in Sir Keir Starmer's Britain is under serious threat. Everybody knows it, and it's a weak spot for him. A weak spot that our very own Bev Turner stuck her thumb into when she questioned the PM alongside President Trump earlier today.
Free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
And then Bev drilled into him again about online censorship.
Mr. President, you have a successful social media site. There are new powers here to censor your site, state-mandated powers.
To censor my site?
To censor your site and Twitter
Truth?
and Facebook.
Truth,
I mean Truth. Is that okay?
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone.
Well, it's not true, is it? Let's have a look at the facts, shall we? The Online Safety Act has already hidden reports on Pakistani rape gangs and blocked footage of migrant hotel protests. Just wait until the new Islamophobia definition comes into force under Sir Keir Starmer, and that could mean that anybody wanting to complain about the construction of a multi-million-pound mega mosque in rural Cumbria will presumably be an Islamophobe. The PM has just approved an elite police task force to track online posts about immigration. Gosh, well, last week I made a mockery of his claims that he was smashing the gangs. You are a human trafficker, aren't you?
Are there?
Yes. Why are you bringing people illegally to Britain?
Go.
Why are you bringing people illegally to Britain? So if you have a look quickly, just quickly, right? Oh, hang on. We can go live now to Sir Keir Starmer's special task force, can we? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh, no, what's that? He wants to lock me up. Gosh, oh, well. Anyway, people want to get around draconian online age verification rules by buying a VPN device. Well, now, some in his own party are proposing banning them. So what other countries have banned it? Shall we have a look? Oh, it's North Korea, Belarus, Iraq and Turkmenistan. That's the kind of company we keep in Sir Keir Starmer's Britain. Then it got worse for the PM. President Trump tore into London Mayor Sadiq Khan. And watch what Sir Keir does.
Not a fan of your mayor.
Why not?
I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London, but a nasty person. I think
he's a friend of mine.
No, I think he's done a terrible job. But I would certainly visit London. Yeah.
That's the problem, Prime Minister. You're friends with the bloke everybody hates. President Trump also gave Sir Keir a dressing down about what mass immigration, both legal and illegal, has done and will do to Europe.
Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it.
Did anyone else spot Sir Keir stumbling over his words to Donald Trump and the media about small boats?
The President makes it look easy dealing with illegal migration. You must be envious of his record in such a short period of time.
Well, I think we've been discussing irregular, illegal migration is a huge issue in both of our countries. In the United Kingdom, it is a real cause for concern, and that's why we must bear down on it in all its aspects.
I mean, look, that is BS, isn't it? Sir Keir Starmer's government have paid loads of those people to leave. That's how they're claiming that they've managed to deport people. And how many people who came illegally on boats have been deported? I think the answer might be zero. As our Prime Minister sat there in what was a metaphorical cuckolding chair at President Trump's golf course, he had to listen to the US President tell him about how to become popular, knowing that he can't and won't do any of those things.
You know, politics is pretty simple. I assume there's a thing going on between you and Nigel, and it's okay, you know, it's two parties. But generally speaking, the one who cuts taxes the most, the one who gives you the lowest energy prices and the best kind of energy, the one that keeps you out of wars, has kept you out of wars, but the one that keeps you out of wars. You know, you have a few basics, and you can go back 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, whoever does these things, but low taxes, keep us safe, keep us out of wars, no crime, stop the crime.
Today just highlighted yet again that Britain is a lion of a country run by a pussycat of a man.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Well, let's go up now to Scotland. Fresh from the day's events is GBNews presenter Bev Turner. Bev, look, firstly, unbelievable amounts of congratulations for what you've done there. It just shows really what can be done when you allow someone like yourself into the lion's den to go and just skewer people left, right and centre. So what was it all like for you?
Thank you, Patrick. Look, it wasn't just me in that room today. Christopher Hope was there as well. He asked a brilliant question about tax. It was GBNews in that room today. It was you, it was Emily, it was Michelle. It was so many people from GBNews in that room today with me, because these are the topics that we talk about every day. This is what matters to people. We are the fearless champion of Britain, are we not? So it was easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, frankly. The issues that Donald Trump has done so well on happen to be all the issues that Keir Starmer is resolutely failing on. So you get those two men in the room and all you have to do is bring up the issues. And I personally, by the end of it, I genuinely felt a bit sorry for Keir Starmer. Like I didn't know it was going to be so hard for him. I genuinely didn't know those questions would be so difficult. But I think also from a personal point of view, it was so satisfying because since spring 2020, I've watched these press conferences where the British press have resolutely failed to hold anybody's feet to the fire. So to be in that environment, I was like a coiled spring because I know what matters. I know what our viewers and our listeners care about. And I just kept batting them at them. It was great. It was joyous. It was genuinely the most satisfying day of my career.
Yeah, well, and it shone through, actually. And again, well done, and thank you for everything. Just one more question with you, Bev, because I know that we're hopefully, anyway, going to get you a little bit later on as well. I've got some more clips I want to dig into, the thing you asked about the farmers, for example. But for me, one of the things that seemed like a real weak spot for Keir Starmer was that issue of free speech. And you pressed him on it, not once, but twice in there. He hates it, doesn't he?
He hates it. And it was my first question to Donald Trump when he got off the plane yesterday. And he swerved it a little bit and he said, I like your Prime Minister. And I thought, I'm not letting this go. So I got the second opportunity today on the steps of Turnberry and asked it again. And Starmer just came out with his platitude. We have a long tradition of free speech. Yeah, we do. And you're ripping it up. So then we went in the room a bit later and I thought, I'm going to bring it out again. I'm not letting this go. So I thought, well, I'll go for the Truth Social angle as well, because, of course, that's what Donald Trump, that's his social media platform for anyone that doesn't know. That's his Twitter. And so I just wanted to point out to him, the bloke next to you has the powers now to censor what's on your website. And of course, he doesn't really know. I don't think Donald Trump really understands. He's not, you know, how can he? He's a very busy man. He's got a lot of countries to think about. And it was just a joy, really, to get that over across the room, that the changes that are happening here are so authoritarian. And hopefully I'll get some more time with Donald Trump tomorrow, and I'm flying back with him on the aeroplane. I might just try and get a seat next to him and explain to him exactly what's going on, because somebody needs to tell him.
Well, indeed. Bev, thank you very, very much. Well done. I hope to talk to you again a little bit later on. But, yeah, I mean, Tornado Turner ripped through there, didn't it? So, good stuff. Let's get the thoughts of my panel now, shall we? We've got Daily Express columnist Carol Malone, journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth, and, of course, the new Reform Party member, Sir Jake Berry. Carol, just as a bit of an overview that unrelenting squirmathon between Sir Keir Starmer and President Trump. Well, what was your overall take on that?
It looked to me like he'd scuttled up to Scotland. It's quite unusual, I think, for a leader to run up to where the president is at the golf course. He sat there and he looked like his dummy. And, you know, he didn't challenge him on anything. The press conference was a bigger challenge than Keir Starmer was. But I just think it made him look weak. And the stuff that Trump was saying, the stuff he attacked the subsidies on wind turbines. He said that he had to provide cheaper energy. He said the one that tackles immigration is going to win the next election. Spot on everything. And everything he said was everything Keir Starmer is not doing in this country.
Yeah.
And I think Starmer, you saw him when he met his wife Victoria there, the two of them, literally squirming. They couldn't keep their faces straight. Trump is saying what he's saying. Trump was right on everything he said about what we should be doing. Yeah. Starmer never once said, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm running it. Whatever. He let he let the leader of the free world tell him how to run his country.
I thought it was incredibly emasculating.
Yes.
I thought it was one of the most emasculating things I've ever seen.
But only because Starmer allowed it to be. Because he didn't chip in, he didn't talk. He just sat there like a little boy being told off. He didn't have to just sit there like a little boy.
On that free speech issue, Benjamin, specifically, that Keir Starmer's got his tried and tested line, isn't it, which is we've had a long history of free speech in Britain, a long history of free speech in Britain. OK, well then let's have a look at the fact there's this online immigration task force now. We're going to have the Islamophobia rule, we've got the Online Safety Act, all of that stuff. He can't realistically stand there and say that anymore, can he? He is a threat to free speech, isn't he?
No, not at all. Look, you've tried really hard to pretend that this didn't go well, when quite obviously it's gone very well. The first thing that Donald Trump said is Keir Starmer is, quote-unquote, a very good leader. He said he's dealing with immigration well.
What else is he going to say when he's sitting a foot away from him?
They have a quite remarkably good relationship. That's how they got the trade deal before any of the other countries and organisations got it. You know, Donald Trump has praised Keir Starmer every single juncture. Now, there's no disputing, there's no doubting that they are not natural bedfellows. And quite frankly, I think if you're a patriot, you would take pride in the fact that a British Prime Minister of a very different tradition has managed to befriend someone who was as combative as Trump. And he knew in that meeting today, we're all suggesting he should have argued back on different policies. Donald Trump's allowed to have his views. Keir Starmer knew that doing some kind of Zelensky slight tantrum wasn't going to get him anywhere, because we saw what happened. He behaved with dignity and he behaved as the British Prime Minister.
He behaved like a rabbit caught in the car headlights.
What, do you really think?
That wasn't dignity, that was totally undignified.
In the office of Prime Minister, he is not there to undermine the President. They had a
and the President is not there to undermine him, but he did.
Let's bring Jake into this. Jake, what was your overwhelming takeaway from that session there?
Well, it was an extraordinary scene, wasn't it? I mean, the first thing is that Donald Trump seems to have turned Turnberry. I know he owns large parts of Scotland, but he seems to have turned them into the latest state of the United States, where global leaders, not just our Prime Minister, are sort of going there, kissing the ring and paying homage to him, which I just think is actually quite good for Scotland. I mean, Visit Scotland could not want anything better than the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States spending their holidays in Scotland. It's a great place to go.
And the Cotswolds.
But actually, my takeaway from it was Ursula von der Leyen, European Union President, came over, asked him about a trade deal for Europe. John Swinney, the Scottish First Minister, visited President Trump, asked him about the impact of tariffs on Scotland's economy. Our Prime Minister went and talked to him about Gaza. And what I want to say is, you're not Prime Minister of Gaza, you're Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. You've got the most powerful man in the world in your backyard, as it were, and you go and ask him about a country thousands of miles away. I think the British people want their own Prime Minister, when they get that one-on-one time, to push Britain, not the as sorry as we are about it, not the plight of people thousands of miles away.
OK, I do wonder whether or not that's because, as was possibly identified by Bev Turner there, which is that those issues that really matter to us, Keir Starmer is very weak on, whereas Trump's very strong. And so if he'd have started banging on about that, it would have exacerbated the differences.
Yeah, but the point is,
anyway.
Donald Trump is like the little boy in that book called The Emperor's New Clothes. He's come to this country, he's reminded British politicians that when it comes to tax, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to law and order, we are naked. And it's taken someone from the outside world to point that out to Keir Starmer for him to realise. I mean, he may not have realised, but it was embarrassing that he had to do it.
Country.